there in Grip World. This is Napalm Jed Johnson. I'm joined by Alan Hynek and James Rederitas. Hello, fellas. How's it going, dudes?
I'm doing real good.
I'm doing pretty well, too. We had a great session yesterday, and, we all kind of PR'd or we hit some milestones yesterday, so it was good. And we also had Anson. I don't know if you guys know Anson Casalovici. I think I'm pronouncing his last name right.
Jed, I know Anson, man. I know him from way back. Yeah.
Well, Anson dropped by too, and he brought some clubs to kind of train with, and we had a good time, man. It was a great training session. So definitely doing really well.
Cool, man. Outstanding. That's great to hear. Let's see, Alan. What do we got here? Episode 86, right?
Yeah. Yep.
86. So we're nearing the 100 episode mark. I think we should do something special for episode 100, guys. What do you guys think?
Oh, that sounds good.
Sounds good.
Commemorate it a little bit. I don't know if it's a special show. Maybe we go live. I don't know. And I'm open to suggestions from people listening as well. So we're going to be there before you know it. It'll definitely be, in the next few months that this happens. So I think
live sounds awesome.
Cool idea. Yeah.
That was something we talked about once upon a time, actually. If you remember,
yeah.
We were kicking that around. So
yes.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
What about doing a live feed and we each get loaded up on champagne since it's a celebration and see where the conversation goes.
Yeah, and how about we do breakdancing as well? It'll give me motivation to limber up my wrists because I've lost some mobility in my wrists over the last couple of years. So that might be the motivation. I need to actually do something about that.
Yeah, my right wrist
hasn't
been back too far either. So.
Cool. Well, yesterday was the Cupids Nightmare competition at my gym, Peak Strength and Fitness in Wyalusing. So wanted to take a moment to cover that, and then we're also going to talk about some cool feats and world records that have gone down over the last week or two. So first off, the competition yesterday was extremely long. We actually did silver bullet and then 4 events for max weight with 4 attempts, and we did either 30 or 60-second time limits. So there were it was quite a long competition. My mind is actually sort of like blubber right now. So we started off with silver bullet, and of course you guys know Tanner just set the world record on the number 4 gripper a week or two ago. I guess maybe a little bit longer than that now. 30 seconds on a brand new number 4. So big thanks to Iron Mind. They sent me a number 3 and a number 4, brand new, for us to take a shot at the world record. And I even talked to Dr. Strawson about the possibility of making an attempt on both the number 4 and the number 3, and he said that was fine. It would be, it would be unprecedented for the same person to hold the same both records at the same time. So we were talking about that a little bit, and
especially on the same day, huh?
Yeah, and on the same day. So beyond that, I was also particularly excited for the silver bullet because I'm training 3 dudes, 2 of which are in high school. One is a 28-year-old, just citizen of the Wyalusing area, and they're all in the fire company. And the 28-year-old, Brandon Connor, actually has done legal holds with a number 4 on the silver bullet in training.
Wow.
So I was extremely excited to see if he'd be able to do it with a brand new number 4. So we unwrapped the grippers. I didn't really do much with the number 3, but I did do a couple test crushes with the number 4, and it really didn't feel that bad. So training went well leading up to the competition, and I got a 30-second hold with a 208-pound number 4. So I was really pumped about doing that, because I figured with a little contest or adrenaline, it would work out in my favor to maybe break the record. And unfortunately fell a little short. I got 22 seconds, and then it was one of those deals, man, where like it was totally unexpected that thing fell out. Like I wasn't even struggling yet; it just came right out of my grip. So,
yep.
But 22 would have broken the record, 6 weeks ago.
A few weeks ago. Yeah, that's amazing. That's awesome, Jed. Congratulations, man.
Yeah, thanks. It felt good. One thing, I woke up yesterday around 4:30, and my middle finger was hurting really bad. I don't know if I tweaked it on Friday in like my personal training sessions or what, but it just didn't feel right, and I'd be lying if I said that wasn't in my mind during the event, but it didn't hurt anymore doing it, so I don't know what it was. Just
I'm not going to tell any of them, but I'm essentially, after you just said that, I'm made of jokes right now. I'm entirely constructed of jokes, but I'm not going to tell any of them.
That's funny. Well, maybe we can share them sometime after the call.
It's a family-friendly call.
Yeah. So some other highlights from the Silver Bullet. Oh, so we came up with kind of a creative way to score the Silver Bullet. I wasn't sure if you guys saw the video that I put up on YouTube covering it, but basically, going by memory, if you did a 1.5, you would get in the 50s to 60 range, and then a 2 would be 60s to 70, 2.5, 70s to 80, 3, 80s to 90, 3.5. All right, so I was one too high, so it was actually 1.5 was in the 40s. But
that's cool, though. That's a neat idea. Yeah,
it kind of scaled up, and I figured nobody would need less than a 1.5, so they would all get at least 40 points. So it made sense to us. And then the ones place was dictated by how long you held that gripper. So 1 to 5 seconds was 2 points. 6 to 10 seconds was 4 points. 11 to 15 was 3 points, or 2, 4, 6 points for that one. And then 16 to 20 would be 8 points, and then if you got 20 plus, it would be like another full 10 points. So it worked out pretty well because.
So you got 100.
Yeah. So I ended up with 100, and then the next highest was an 86 because. So 86 was a 3.5 hold. Nobody else was able to successfully grip the Silver Bullet with the number 4, but a bunch of people got the 3.5. So even Vincent Revelise was able to get a good hold on the 3.5, and he's awesome. Like a newcomer and somebody you guys may not have heard a lot about. But I don't equate his name with a bunch of grip feats, but I know he's been to a few contests. Are you guys familiar with him at all?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
I've heard of him. His lift, like just following at your competition, he actually seemed to be doing really well.
Absolutely. I was blown away. Like he must have really put together some amazing training over the last few months. The last time that I saw him was in June of last year at the NAGS Championship, and he's improved greatly. He really has. Actually, I thought all of those guys, Anthony Clarino, Vinny, Anton, all those guys looked great, super, super confident on each lift. And very strong. The numbers looked really good. Awesome. I was really impressed. Definitely.
I caught Anthony Clarino's his Blockbuster lift, and that seemed pretty solid. He hit like 75 pounds on that or something, didn't he?
Yeah, the numbers were really good. Even Frank Snyder showed up out of nowhere. I didn't even know he was coming. This is a guy who was closing 3.5s when he was like 18, and he's only from like an hour, 15 minutes away. but I never see him. The last time I saw him was in February of last year, and he's Magnus on the grip board, and he has retained like basically all of his strength. The dude is a freaking monster.
That's awesome.
Yeah. He did 88 pounds on the Blockbuster. We had a 3 or 4 way tie. It was Mike Rinderly, me, Luke. We all had 92.85 pounds on the Blockbuster. Then Frank came in at second place overall. So, and then we had a couple 70s also.
That's
upwards of 90
That's
is huge
cool.
on that thing.
Yeah, man.
Go Rindo. Rindo is on the ascent.
Dude, Rindo looked great. Because he's been training the events hard. This is like the first time he's trained the events for a competition in a long, long time. So he was doing great. He was doing amazing.
That's awesome.
Well, he didn't give himself forearm rhabdo or anything, did he?
No, I don't believe so. He's bounced back well from that. Yeah. No.
Can you imagine?
Yeah. So, so the event order was we went Silver Bullet, 2 3/8 one-hand Nightmare, which is basically the same concept as the Crusher, Rolling Thunder, Trilobite, the rolling, thick bar rolling handle. Then we did the the Blockbuster pinch block. Then it was the 2-inch Napalm's Nightmare, and then the little Bighorn was at the end. And as I predicted, and as I feared, the lockout calls were a total nightmare. It was a total nightmare. I haven't had to call lockouts for like a year. So, I made sure to read the rules before each event, and it clearly states 1 second lockout at the top. So there were a lot of lifts that I said no lift on. There were a lot of them. It was, rather problematic, but, it is what it is, I guess. I was so afraid of it in my own personal lifts that, and mainly what I'm saying is I was afraid of, flack from the community that I kept my lifts down, 5 to 10 pounds. And I made sure that I was getting a good solid pause on everyone because it's such a hassle hearing everybody bitch about it later on.
You'd have been eaten alive on that one.
Yeah. So, we chose pinch block because we wanted to really put some emphasis on that for a few months, just because we had been improving so well. So we didn't really think about having to make lockout calls for it, but it is what it is. And then little Bighorn, it can be a testy device. It felt really good, thank God, during the competition, but sometimes, in training that thing, it's absolute hell. It's very inconsistent, and I'll be up over 200 pounds one day, and then I can't get beyond 170 the next day. So I was happy with that.
It's the flask of vertical lifts.
Yeah, it's just testy. You just don't know what you're gonna encounter on each day that you train on it.
That's my issue with any vertical lift, V-bar, jug, the little Bighorn. It's what I can rep today, I can't pull for a single like next week. I don't know what it is.
Right.
It's everywhere with those things. It's miserable.
One of the things so I have to have a checklist. Even after all these years, I have to have a checklist of how I set everything up. And eventually over time that checklist, to begin with, I have to basically speak the checklist as I'm going down the checklist and set up this event, set up my grip on everything. You know what I mean? Okay, so I gotta see the angle of the loading pin, the carabiner, the handle that I'm grabbing. I have to make sure that the angles are all set up right, so that the circle on the bottom of the little Bighorn is pointing towards my index finger the right way. I have to go through all that stuff, and I wasn't able to figure out the magic equation until maybe a month ago, So it's been kind of like I'm trying to squeeze sessions in to get more work on this thing to make it more internalized. And I wish like I had 6 more weeks to train on it because I feel like I could make a bigger jump up. But it ended up being a good day. I mean, I lifted far more than I did last year. I guess I got 211, so I was happy with that. But I've done more.
I could see you were really methodical on that. Like even going as far as unclipping the carabiner and rotating it and getting everything just perfect. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's,
dude.
You don't see many people actually doing that. And you were making sure it was just right, not dicking around. Like a lot of times, my downfall is I more or less just kind of I do some positioning, but I'll just grab it. I don't do what you did, taking it off and taking that few extra seconds to get it perfect. That's a big difference between. And that's pounds, which is just a ton on those things.
It's
that was impressive.
Well, I appreciate that, and I mean, and I wasn't blowing out of proportion when I talk about that checklist. Like, it's almost like I'm looking at stuff like a blueprint. Like, it's almost like I can see dotted lines going through, like the loading pin, or up through the handle, or down through my fingers. Because if I know that if I don't get it just right, it's going to feel like I'm trying to lift a boat anchor out of the water. It just doesn't work out. So. And I'm sure, like, on some events, like, I think if I obsess more about, for instance, the moon top, I probably have another 10 pounds in me. But I just can't, I just dislike it enough that I won't get into it. You know what I mean?
It just doesn't do it for you. Yeah. No, I get it. Yep.
I know exactly what you mean. Jed.
Yeah. So what do you do that on, James? What kind of, or are you saying you don't like the moon top?
Yeah, well, that was a joke, but yeah, I mean, there are certain pieces of grip equipment that, I don't know, I can't, because I can't get into it. It doesn't get my focus when I go to lift it. It doesn't. I guess essentially that, Yeah,
I got you.
It was a moon top joke.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
I know Alan loves the moon top, so I'm sorry, Alan.
I actually do like the moon top. Yeah, I'm not even, I don't even totally know why. It just the big thing for me. It's one of those things. It doesn't tear me up, and I'm a big fan of things that don't rip my skin all to hell when I'm training with them.
I will agree with that. I will agree with that. Yeah, that is nice.
Yep.
Let's see some other, just to highlight a few other things here. So I wanted to talk about Evan Norton also, because he came in, he was a first-time lifter, and he got first-time competitor. And both Evan Norton, who's 18, going to graduate from Wyalusing this year, he got 85.47 on the pinch block, and so did Brandon Connor. He's my 28-year-old guy that's the fire chief. All 3 of those kids, the other one being Dylan Merritt, they're all firemen. They're all volunteer firemen here in our little town here, and Brandon happens to be the fire chief. So,
wow, that's cool.
And they're all strong sons of guns too.
Sounds like it.
What are these high school guys? What are you equating that huge grip strength from? That they're able to pull some of this stuff.
Yeah,
and crush these big grippers even.
I think a big part of it is that they got into like Brian Shaw videos in high school. Like they watch all of Brian Shaw, all of Jujimufu. Seems like there's somebody else, Larry Wheels. They watch all those videos all the time. So they came to me very, very strong, but maybe lacking some technique and lacking some of the know-how as far as like progressions and different variations on lifts. So now that they're with me, I'm able to take this amazing strength that they've already built at such a young age and kind of like direct it more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but as far as the grip strength, I would say that Evan just has big hands, and he's been pulling big weight for a long time. So he can row a lot, he can deadlift a lot, pull downs. He's able to pull a lot of weight in lifts. So he's got a strong grip. Brandon, his job is he works in a stone quarry. And, like, he's shown me pictures of some of the jobs that he's done all by himself, like hossing around these giant pieces of, like, iron and steel and stuff like that, hanging them up, having to, like, balance them on one hand, things like that. The dude is a freak. He's never competed in a sport his whole life. Yesterday was the first time he ever had to perform anything whatsoever in front of a group of people. And wow. The thing about Evan and Dylan is that they've played football, track, baseball. They're multi-sport athletes. Both of them have been. So they're used to that, and just these guys are they just love watching stuff about strength on YouTube, and it's been really, really interesting for them. So
sounds like a hell of a fire department you got nearby there, Jed.
Yeah,
I feel pretty safe in their hands. Like
there's a
fire. You need to breach the door. You just
rip
the door handle off.
Yep. They even told me a story about how they had to go on a manhunt for a girl who ran away from home, and they had to put in like hours of walking. So even just like, I mean, you're looking for someone. You're not just hunting. You're not strolling through the woods with a gun in your hand. You're like huffing and puffing, kind of panicked, like, what am I going to find? You know what I mean? So, like,
you're hyper-vigilant,
Yeah, so they're ready for anything. They're good guys, and it's been really enjoyable working with them, and I was excited as hell when I wasn't going to even tell them about the grip contest. I didn't think they would be interested in it, but the one day I announced it on Facebook, they were like, so you got to tell us about this grip contest. What's the whole deal there? So, and
that's
then
cool.
All three of them ended up signing up. It was pretty cool.
World's strongest fire department.
Yeah, man. Dude.
That is awesome.
Very cool.
So for fun, do these guys like fill up a fire truck with water and drag it around and stuff?
Well, what's funny about that is I didn't really know any of these guys. Brandon also does some snow plowing on the side, so he plowed my driveway one time. That's the only time I ever met him. And I remember shaking his hand thinking, golly, this dude's hand is like shaking a rock. But I don't recall saying anything to him about grip. But later on, when I was doing my grand opening for my gym, I had called Brandon and asked him if we'd be able to set up a fire truck pull. And I did a practice fire truck pull, and we did it on one spot that was like perfectly flat. And then I was like, guys, do you mind if we take the truck over right in front of the gym just to make sure that I can do it in the street there? So we kind of shut down the street for like 20 minutes, and I was able to pull the truck. But from one spot to the next, Evan was in the back of the truck. He's like, we were talking about grip and strongman and stuff. He's like, what you should do is you should get one of those Thomas Inch dumbbells. And I'm like, dude, I got 3 of them. I got 3 of them at the gym right now. So 3. He's like 3. He couldn't believe it.
It's cool that he thought he introduced the concept to you.
Yeah. Well, the crazy thing is between Evan and Dylan, neither of them knew either me or Luke. So I live in the town that Luke grew up in, and Luke lives in the town that I grew up in. So between us both, we know everybody, dude. It's like we know everybody. So for a couple dudes to not know either one of us, especially being that we're online so much, it was pretty crazy. Brandon's only a few years younger than Luke, so he's known Luke for years. But yeah, man, getting off topic, but the contest went great. Mike McMillan and Jeff Martin, the 2 brothers, they came. It was good to see those guys again. I didn't even know that they were coming. They just showed up. And then I looked on the grip board this morning, and sure enough, Mike had posted that they were both coming. I just didn't see it. Juliet, Lancaster, Avila came up. So we had a decent group from the New York, New Jersey area. Like that area was well represented. Chris Andrade came down and competed and put up some good numbers.
Awesome.
Let's see. I mentioned Mike Rinderly coming down. Brian Clifford came down from the southern tier of New York and had a good first competition. He seemed to really enjoy himself. Tom Flesher also. I left him out from earlier. I really want to thank Tom because he was like he kind of stepped up and became like the fourth man in charge. Like he wrote down some data for me on the score sheet. I think he judged a couple lifts. He ran the camera a couple times. Helped keep things moving. So that was really huge. Another huge thing, Eli Thomas came down. He's my good friend from Elmira, New York. Trained with him for years in the old Diesel Crew days. He came down and had a good day. He's a strong son of a gun. And then had a couple people that weren't able to make it. I don't know what happened to Storm Chelino. Jim Wagner was going to come down, but I guess the trip got vetoed by his wife, so he wasn't able to make it. And then thoughts going out to Chase Wiley. He got hurt. He had some kind of an accident on a leg press where he injured both his ankles. So he wasn't able to come down. So it sounded like he kind of escaped something that could have been a lot worse. So hopefully he's able to bounce back from that here pretty soon. But I'll have all the stats up here as soon as I can. But we already touched on a lot of the cool things, and then we ended the contest with Luke Raymond breaking the world record on the little Bighorn. So that video will go to Iron Mind to get reviewed. As you know, I've already mentioned in this call, lockout is a tough thing to deal with, especially at top levels. Your best weight possible. So, but I was strict. I actually gave him a no lift on his, I believe, third attempt on the same world record weight, and then he kind of cleaned off the implement a little bit, re-chalked it, and then was able to get a good lift. So
awesome. What did he pull?
Cleared.
I saw that. I was hoping he didn't blow his wad on that third lift because he had it up and then he kind of, I think, hopped it like a second time, and I was worried he was going to be gassed, but then he came back on that fourth one and nailed it. So
right.
And that wasn't a lot of rest, just a couple minutes.
Yeah, I was strict. Like everybody that had to follow themselves only got a 2-minute break, and I even my wife was running the timer, and I only got 2 minutes on my stuff too. So,
yeah, that's pretty tight in my opinion.
Yeah, it's pretty tight.
What did Luke end up pulling?
1 second, let me slide my.
Near 244 or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
Wow, that's awesome. Go, Luke. Good work, dude.
Yeah, he beat it by it was over the required amount.
Yeah, with the
at least as the scaled weight anyway.
Yeah, so that was what the scale said. I believe the actual weight was 243.48, based on the weighing of the implements and such. So that's the number that'll get submitted to Iron Mind. And then we weighed it twice because I didn't realize it didn't enter in my head, but the platform warped on that one corner, and I laugh all the time because people trip on it. I think it's hilarious, but it happens all the time.
That sounds funny.
Yeah, so I had like 3 dudes, like it was like a crew of people assisting with weighing this, and I was like, oh crap, it's on the wrong spot on the platform. So we had to move it to the center, like the more of the lifting area where it's not warped. So totally defeating the purpose of 3 guys trying to assist with the world record weight weighing. But it
we're gonna see you limping in one of your videos one day because you're gonna just hammer your toe on that thing. Then the joke's gonna be on you.
No way, man. No way. I've got radar for that thing. I when I get close to it, my right ear starts twitching, and I know not to. I know that I have to move away from it. Kind of like when you know that there's bugs in the area, and you kind of move your hand up over your head so that they go to your hand, and then you walk away, and they don't know where you went. You try that trick? You ever do, like, seriously, in the summer when the gnats and stuff and the black flies are, like, around you, just wipe all the sweat off your brow, stick your hand right up in the air, and the bugs will rise to your hand. And then you walk away real quick, and then you've got, like, 5, 10, 15 seconds before they're back at you. But if you stand there with your hand up with sweat on it the whole time, you won't have any bugs on your head.
Wow, I never heard that.
Making that up.
I didn't make shit up. That's 100% truth. That's 100% truth.
I'm going to be that guy in the summer with sweat on my hand, waving it around in the air, keeping bugs away from me.
Dude, once you start doing it, and then all your friends realize what's going on, everybody will be doing it. It won't even seem weird anymore. So it's just part of the picnic now. It's just part of the cornhole tournament. People with hands up above their head.
Sure.
And much safer than dealing with DEET or whatever, strychnine or whatever it is that they put in those sprays these days that supposedly repel the insects.
Yeah. Like muskal back in the day.
Don't forget it, man. It's winter now, but when summer rolls around, you're gonna be thankful that old Jetter passed that information on to you.
Sure.
Good old Jetter.
Yeah, man.
Jed Clampett. Jed Clampett. That would be a good grip name. Jed Clampett.
Hey, dude, it would be. Hey, I was like a sophomore in high school, and I pitched a ball game against Sayre, and the headline, I won like 6-2. The headline the day after was Jed clamps down on the Redskins.
Nice.
Yes, I still have that article.
So now you got to drop the Diesel moniker or the napalm moniker then, and go with the Clampett thing.
Yeah.
That's going to change everything.
Yeah, I'll have to hyphenate it, and instead of Clampett, it'll be Clamp It.
There you go.
The hyphen. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, dude. Any questions on the contest, guys? I do want to make sure everybody gets recognized for what they did last week, so we can go on to the next thing unless there's other questions.
Well, my question would be: was there any do you have any kind of overall who sort of fell where kind of thing, or?
So the contest took so long, dude, that everybody was in a real hurry to get out of there, and we didn't even do any awards presentations. And Iron Mind hooked us up with 2 gift cards, so I'm going to have to mail them out to people.
Okay.
But I can kind of run over who. So it looks like so in the 120 plus, Eli took first place, and then Evan Norton in second, Tom Flesher in third, and then Brandon Connor in fourth. Brandon would have had a much better finish than he ended up having, but he tried the number 4, and then it smoked him, and he wasn't able to get a legal hold on anything afterwards, unfortunately. Yeah.
That's understandable.
Yeah. In the 120, it was me in first place, then Mike Rinderly, close by, only 5 points behind me. After that, it was in third place Frank Snyder, fourth Brian Clifford, and then Dylan Merritt in fifth. Juliet was the only woman competitor. Let's see, in the 93 kilo, it was Luke in first place, Anton Torella in second, Jeff Martin in third, and Chris Andrade in fourth. Vinny Rivalise was all by himself in the 84 kilo, so he took that one. Anthony Clarino was uncontested, or I said 84, I meant 83. Anthony Clarino was all by himself in the 74 kilo, and then Mike McMillan was all by himself in the 66. And it was really fun all day. Every time Anthony came up, we would give him a different Italian or Hispanic last name. So I think he was Anthony Clarissa Explains It All, Clarentino, all those.
He was looking jacked.
Dude, yeah, man. He had, the perfect shirt on. I don't know if he bought it in tailored, got a tailored shirt, or if he just shrunk it or what, but that shirt was fitting, supremely well.
Washed it and dried it 5 times before he came or something.
Yeah, dude, yeah.
Kept it in the dryer for 4 hours.
Yeah, meanwhile, Anton has lost 60 pounds in the last 5 years, and he
was looking trim. Yep.
Yeah, he is. He's very lean, and he's still wearing the same sweatshirt.
I recognized I recognized the heavy accent, and and the voice from South Jersey 4. And when he came on screen, it's like, who the hell is this guy? And it took a minute.
Yeah, I love.
Plus, he had the locks going, dude. Did you see the feathering that he had going on in his hair? It was pretty sweet. Like, I didn't see any product in his hair either. I think it's like he's trained his hair to do that.
Yeah, they remind me of the old crew I used to hang with on Arthur Avenue in the Bronx. You know, they have that quality about them. So I love seeing those guys. Plus, They left a whole bunch of beer in my hotel room up at Gripmas this year. So it's already gone. It's gone. But, yeah, those guys are cool.
Cool. Nice.
Good to see him doing well.
Yeah, man. I was really impressed with all those guys. I left Tom out earlier, but, I mean, he's looking strong. They all are. And, like, even just the fact that they were choosing their attempts wisely, you know, that's something you notice. Like, sometimes people consistently make too big of jumps, and then you end up crossing their number off multiple times because they don't get it. But that wasn't happening nearly as much yesterday. You can really see that people are getting good experience and making better choices with their attempts as well.
That's good. That's awesome.
Yeah. And so, James, you said that you had some records and such to cover, so why don't we go ahead and cover that right now, big man?
Well, it just seemed like everyone was peaking pretty well yesterday. You know, like Gary Stewart. Actually, Sean Capusta brought it. It was the double inch wrench, and it was our first time messing with it. And Gary Stewart had floated like 200 pounds a couple times on it, and he had locked out 190 on it pretty handily, you know. And him and Jason were tearing decks of cards, and they were actually adding cards to decks, so that was pretty cool. Anson had brought these clubs, these kind of Indian clubs that you know, we were messing around with, and we were doing kind of sledge chokes with them, like the sledge deadlift chokes with them. Yeah. And one of them, I managed to get it off the ground pretty level too. Was about I think it was 26 pounds, and yeah, it was. I mean, it's not like doing a 26-pound sledgehammer. It's probably more like doing like a 10-pound sledgehammer. But those things are dense. And man,
what was it, James? Were they like ADEX clubs?
Yeah, but I'm trying to think. I was looking at the logo on them, and Anson had said what they were. I couldn't remember what they were, though. But yeah, we were messing around with those. And then Gary had brought something called the Bomb. It's almost like
old
grabbing
FBBC
a shot put.
Unit.
What's that?
Was it the old FBBC unit, the sphere? Steel ball?
Yeah. So we were going up in that, and I think some of them ended up around 50 pounds on it. Anson, who had never seen the thing before, you know, was above where I was on it, you know. So, what's that?
Isn't that more or less a shot put, a steel shot put that's been like fitted with an eye bolt?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what I thought that was. Yeah, pretty healthy one though, isn't it? Like,
yeah, it's shot loaded, and it's like, you know, but it's got an eye bolt so you can kind of clamp it to a loading pin. And
wait a second, you said yours is shot loaded? The one that you use is shot loaded?
Yeah.
No
so
kidding.
I don't know who makes it. Yeah. Well, there's a place by us called the Used Gym Store that's in Statesville that sells all kinds of like loading pins cheap and all kinds of like sort of knockoff grip equipment from companies I never heard of. You know, but you can get pinch blocks for like $20 and loading pins for under $20 and you know, all kinds of, you know, like the jugs. They have like knockoff jugs that you can get for like less than $20.
So you got a store you can walk into and buy that stuff? That is awesome.
Yeah. We did an event a few years ago called the Day of Strength there. It's called the Used Gym Store, and it used to be in Iron Station, North Carolina. Yeah, and now it's in a place called Statesville, North Carolina. It's about an hour north of Charlotte. And like pretty much all of us go and get our old weights from there. Like anytime we find some like old set of Yorks or something, it's usually coming from there. because they get it's the new and used gym store. So they have new stuff, but they get a lot of really great old used stuff. And sometimes they'll get stuff from like, old YMCAs or university gyms.
Yeah.
That is really, really kind of quality, really rare stuff. So.
Sure, yeah. I've heard stories of gyms like that, like YMCAs and old colleges and stuff, just throwing away all their old weights. Like they get the new flashy stuff that looks pretty, and they just throw everything else away, or they probably scrap it maybe, or have one of these places like you're talking about, James, that buys it for pennies. Yeah,
they buy it for pennies, and they don't sell it for that much either. It's like, if we can walk out of there with like York dumbbells for like 59 cents a pound, that's pretty darn good.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't mind doing that. But yeah, they do have like grippers. They sell like HG grippers, and they just have a whole little room where they sell that stuff, and then they have like a clearance area where they sell that stuff too. So
wow.
So yeah, I mean, if you guys ever want me to, I go up there pretty regularly. Anything you guys are looking for, you can always shoot it over to me like in a message, and I'll check and see if they have it for you, pick it up and send it to you, or just give it to you when I see you, kind of thing.
That's cool. Cool, man. Thank you.
That is awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, Sean Capusta had brought that double inch wrench, and we were messing with that, and I pulled something in my trap, in my left trap, and I think I was only in the mid to upper 170s at that point. So I definitely have work to do on that. We were trying to get Bob to do a pull-up off of it, but I don't think he did. And then Anson showed up, so yeah, we never really got to that. But yeah, man.
What was the occasion that Anson ended up coming over?
I don't know. I really don't know. It's like last time I saw Anson, I bought his 20-pound sledgehammer off him. And I was meeting him somewhere like halfway in between us, because he lives about 45 minutes north of me. So we met up, and this other guy was there who was buying a 250-pound stone from him. So the guy was trying to get the stone out of Anson's truck, and he couldn't. He was a bigger guy, too, pretty lean, kind of CrossFit-y-looking dude. And Anson's not a big guy. Anson, like, scooped it up out of his trunk and walked it over to this dude's truck and just dropped it in. So
nice.
He's still strong, man. He's still he keeps himself strong for sure.
That's cool.
Not sure what the occasion was, though. He just sort of popped up. Bob said he might come, and there he was. So I invited him over next week, because we're having a bunch of people at my place next week. So I invited him over. Hopefully he can make it out. But
cool.
But yeah, man, we had a great training session. I managed to pinch 55s, left-handed again. Still could lock them out right-handed.
I'm still beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm still struggling with them right-handed. I've had them off the ground a bunch, but I've never locked them out. So, but got a good lockout with them left-handed, so that was pretty good.
Nice.
But,
congratulations.
Thank you. Fun time, and then like at the end of the day, I left and James Fuller called, and we talked about lockout versus crossbars for about an hour and a half.
Nice.
He would have been an interesting guy to have you guys talk about that subject with last week. That's for sure.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of interesting insight. Yeah. Oh God, what an unbelievably knowledgeable guy with a lot of insight and wisdom. Just a really cool dude to talk to, even if he and I didn't agree on everything, So, but yeah, man, that was pretty much it. That was pretty much what was going on. Gary had pulled the 152-plus pound inch trainer several times, and he, we got that on film. So that was another thing for Gary. He hadn't lifted that yet. So
yeah, with what he's hitting.
What's that?
With what he's hitting on, like what you were talking about with that double inch wrench, what he was pulling on that, I would think he'd be getting in the neighborhood of like an inch lift here one of these days.
Well, Bob has said that inch trainer that we have loaded up, because of the thickness of the handle and he just said, he says it's a lot closer to the inch than 20 pounds, essentially, is what he said.
Yeah,
so he thinks he thinks Gary's like really knocking on that door. And he's knocking on it with both hands. He's really close both hands. Jason is right there, right-handed. I'm probably a little bit behind those guys right-handed. But I think we'll all be getting it, within the next 6 months for sure.
Cool. That would be good to see, like, just you guys line up in a line of 3 and just knock it off, right in a row.
Run a train on her.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
Yep.
Well,
how's
that's awesome.
your arm coming along, Alan?
It's hanging in there. Out of the sling now and everything, and starting to move it around a lot. Now that the real physical therapy has started, it actually hurts quite a bit. But other than that, though, it's moving as it's supposed to right now. So my incision is finally closed up after 2 months.
That's
a perk.
Yeah, definitely.
So it'll be a while yet, but it's getting closer. In another month, I should be able to start, doing more normal things with it. I'm kind of, being really careful with it. I kind of keep my hand in my pocket a lot so I don't unintentionally do something stupid. But,
yep.
It's just a waiting game. Yeah. You're so used to being able to.
What's that?
Well, yeah, like Jed's thing. Imagine if I had like a bunch of flies near me or something like that. I wanted to wipe the sweat off my head and scare them away. I'd be like, do that with my left hand, and that'd hurt like hell. So.
Yeah, that's the thing. That was the issue I had with my right shoulder. Was, it's like you're not feeling the pain there immediately, so you're starting to think like the things that you don't think about, like reaching up to grab something out of a cabinet, and then all of a sudden it's that feels like a bolt of lightning hits your shoulder. And you're like, that's right. I just had surgery. That's right.
Any quick movement, especially like going to flip a light switch, it's like, that's a terrible reminder of everything that just happened. So.
Yeah, or any kind of like sort of reactive sort of thing, like you get
those are the worst ones. Yep. That's interesting.
By the time the weather gets warm, Alan, you're going to have 2 healthy, functioning shoulders, and that'll be a good thing.
I hope so. I'm looking forward to getting back to normal. So.
If you will it is no dream.
Yeah.
There you go.
Hey, did you guys see I was very impressed by the video. Harry Talonen with the Iron Mine Hub world record from a competition that took place on like Friday.
Yep. Yeah. What was it? I mean, it's 98 point something. So.
98.96.
That was huge. And did you notice that he never looked at the implement? I wonder what's going on there with his technique, how he turns his head away like that.
No, but that technique, though, it looked like he'd done that a couple 100,000 times to me.
Yeah.
Because he was dead over it. His arm was just perfectly straight down. So that wasn't his first time taking a pull like that.
Nope.
Yeah.
He found it right away. And, I mean, he didn't fumble at all for it. It was incredible. But that was that's the type, the way he lifted that in his setup, that's what you'd expect of a guy that's going to be pulling 99 pounds on it. Yeah. Just everything was just dialed right in. Yeah, it was amazing.
Methodical.
Yeah.
I liked how it all started with a sound foot stomp, boom, and then picking up the implement twice, boom, boom, and then turning away like he doesn't even want to see it. Just look back. Look back.
No, he knew what was coming.
There to spot on the wall and make things happen.
That was cool.
Yeah. That was impressive.
Yeah, that's. I mean, those are some numbers. Like, I mean, I remember earlier this week I saw Jerome Bloom pulling in the 80s, and I know like Tanner Merkel had went over like 65 on a shallow hub this week, and there was some big hub numbers, but that was otherworldly. I mean, I know what 60-something pounds feels like to me, on a hub. Just to think about adding that much more it's pretty insane. It's an insane number, and I think somewhere in Missouri, Mr. John McCarter has awoken from his slumber, and is probably out there in the yard pulling weeds to get ready.
Getting ready for it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens there.
Pulling roots out of the ground, getting ready for his Iron Mine Hub record attempts. But 100's going to fall soon, guys. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Yep. No, you mentioned Jerome Bloom's lift. His was really impressive, hitting that 84 pounds. When you're pulling, upwards of 60% of your body weight, I mean, he's really pound for pound. He's probably one of our best hub lifters we've got out there.
Yeah.
Well, there's no doubt about that.
Yep, it's insane. Any of those niche type lifts.
Yeah. Yeah, anything that's not hand size related, Jerome Bloom absolutely excels at.
Yeah, so. But his pulls, he pulls them high and he holds them long. There's nothing questionable about it. So that's some solid stuff. I could see it easily getting upwards of 90. Yep.
Hey, did you guys see this? I know there was some controversy around the lift, but did you see Catherine Kang? Wojo had posted a video of her lifting, it was 62 point something pounds, maybe 62.8 on a hub this week. And then somebody had said that she might have hit her leg or used her thigh or something like that. But I couldn't, my untrained eye, I was just sort of mesmerized by the weight of the lift.
Is that on his Instagram?
Yeah, it's on Wojo's Instagram, yeah.
I missed that.
Remind me what his Instagram is. It's about his gym, isn't it?
Yeah, it's oh man. Oh yeah, what is his gym called? Why come I'm drawing a blank on this right now. I should have wrote it down. I didn't think about it. Is it not functional? What is it? If you start typing in Wojo, it won't come up?
No, it's not coming up.
Huh.
There's a lot of that. There's actually a lot of John Wojciechowskis and John Wojos and stuff like that on Instagram, believe it or not. I think there's more of those than Jed Johnsons.
Oh, wow.
Isn't it Results or something?
Huh. Yeah, now I'm going to...
Oh, it's joint metabolic. Yep.
It's joint metabolic.
There you go.
Okay, here's this video right now. Catherine Kang. Oh, she got some leg on it. There's definitely some contact. You can see it on her clothes too. Hard to say what sort of assistance there was truly there, but it definitely leaves some room to question it.
Yeah. I'm kind of seeing it now, but yeah, I don't think I can do that with my leg. I'm just throwing that out.
Yeah, it was even digging in a little bit, so there was some assistance there.
Okay. All right. Well,
Telltale
hopefully
chalk
she
residue
buttons
on the
up
pants.
her floor. What's that?
Telltale chalk residue on the pants.
Ah. Okay.
Yeah, a little iffy.
Yeah, I have to channel my my inner investigator. I'm not so adept at this, but yeah.
I don't know that it was crazy deliberate, though. That doesn't look like necessarily a malicious thing to me. It might have been one of those deals where she wasn't even aware of it,
Yeah.
But,
well, one can only hope.
Yep.
Yeah, she goes back and works on it hard. She'll end up getting that clean anyway. No problem. I just like the fact that John's introducing it to his clients, and especially the fact that women are getting into it. I mean, it looks like it fits her hand pretty well, where she could end up producing some pretty big numbers down the line.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, did you guys see? I'm going to butcher the name. Is it Quinn Chen Yang? Do you guys know who I'm talking about? He did he's closing ridiculous grippers like fours, and he did a credit card set with a GHP 8 this week, which is probably the equivalent of maybe a 3.5 iron mine.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
I don't know that I must not follow him.
I think he posted something on the grip board last week or something. Just crushing absolutely insane grippers. And I just started following him on YouTube this week just because I didn't know who he was, admittedly.
How's it spelled, James?
I want to I think it's Quinn, QUINCHEN, maybe? I'm probably butchering it, even the spelling right now.
Yeah, it's not popping up with that, but
no.
I'd like to follow him.
Yeah, well, what I'll do is I'll send you a link to his YouTube so
Cool.
you guys can take a look at sort of the stuff that he's doing.
All right, great.
I was trying to find some of that. I guess I'm looking on the grip board. I'm just not seeing anything right now.
Yeah, I think he had posted something about the GHP 9 and like the number 4 gripper, like just very recently on the grip board.
Oh yeah, that
don't see those clothes
fellow named Cash Dan posted that.
Yeah, so Cash Tan. Okay. Yeah, well, anyway, if you get a chance to look at his closes, some of them are just absolutely bananas.
I wonder if we didn't talk about him. Was he one of those? I don't know. Was he somebody that started on like the 3 or something like that this past year? I wonder who that was.
Well, I'm looking at it right now. It's Qian Chen Yang. So Qian, no U. So it's QIANCHENYANG.
QIA.
And he's got like a COC4 training video on his YouTube, a GHP 8 credit card set. He does a BBGE. Is that a beef builder gripper?
Yeah, Grand Elite. That's huge.
Which is rated at 210. He does a Mash Monster set close with.
What?
So, really strong guy.
All right, let me get this. QUIAN?
No U.
Oh, no U. Okay, that's what's screwing it up. I keep throwing that in there.
Yeah, that's what it is. QIANCHEN.
CHEN?
Yep.
Is that all one word?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the last name is
Yang.
YMG.
Okay. So
yeah.
I just found it, but he's got 30 followers, and there's only one picture on there. So I wonder, does he have multiple?
It's his YouTube.
Oh, it's
yeah,
YouTube.
no, his YouTube is what.
What the heck am I talking about? Why am I on Instagram? Let's get over here on YouTube. Well, you said YouTube twice. I don't know why I'm still on Instagram. That's just
well, this name was really familiar. I thought we highlighted him one time because I just searched his name, and he was the first teenager to ever close a GHP 8.
Yeah.
I remember that coming up at one point. I'm just trying to thumb back through and see if I can find anything like that, but it's not coming up right now.
Well, looks like he's got a massive hand on him.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, yeah.
Darn, I wish I could. Not having any luck right now.
Well, while you guys are looking, did you see David Horn? I think I sent you guys a link to this earlier this week. It might have been someone else where he did the middle finger and index pinch, just a 2-finger and thumb pinch with 5 kilograms added to 2 20-kilogram plates.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
Wow, he smashed.
Yeah.
I can't. He totally smashed this beef builder Grand Elite. I'm not sure I've seen anybody close one of them in like the last 10 years. That's basically a 4.
Well, yeah.
No matter what the rating is, that's basically a 4.
Or something? Yeah. Yeah. I think he said it's 210 or 215 or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah.
Anyhow, the guy's wicked strong. There's no question about that.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd be watching out for him. It'd be awesome if he'd start trying to climb the Mash Monster ladder. So he could do.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. I also, want to give a shout-out to Mr. Aaron Corcoran. who had said that it's been 10 years. He posted a video from 10 years ago of his first Captains of Crush 4 close. So.
Yep, I saw that too. That was pretty cool.
So we got to give Aaron some love.
I'm pretty sure I remember watching him do it in person one time at Chad Woodall's contest in 2009, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I was at Aaron's place a couple of years ago while I was out in Arizona. It was just one of those things where I said to the family, hey, can we drive another 25 minutes south and go see Aaron? And we went and we had a little quick grip training session where he took one of his 3.5s and slammed it shut 3 times so fast that you could hear the handles click. So crazy explosive.
Yeah, I just thought I saw.
Aaron's one of those guys who never loses any strength on his grippers and is always in top form for every competition. He's very impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I enjoy talking training with Aaron too.
Oh yeah.
He's got so much insight and input that kind of like kind of like James Fuller. You always hear something new and different and something that maybe you hadn't considered before. Well, I do anyway. Maybe not you guys, but I certainly do.
Yeah, and then some of the gadgets that he's got at his house
are amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been sworn to secrecy on some of them, but
yeah,
they're insane. They're insanely cool.
But he puts those teasers on the grip board once in a while about some of the stuff. Yeah. It sounds like he's got some grip apparatus deal. It's been like a secret weapon type deal for him for a little while here. You see some gripper progress again.
He's like the Nikola Tesla of grip.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Anything else, fellas?
Well, I was going to say, other than a pretty cool-looking lift I saw from Dolly Chung with 180 pounds on a 4-inch Saxon bar. He does a lot of cool wide pinch stuff that I've seen. That was all pretty much for me for the week, feet-wise.
Yeah, I missed that one. The last couple of days before the contest were real busy. I didn't get online much, so you're right. He does like that Saxon bar stuff.
Yeah. Pulls some pretty awesome numbers on him, too. So
cool. Well, I don't have anything else. How about you, Alan?
Nope. I'm all wrapped up. So.
All right. Well, why don't you take it over, Alan? The show's yours, dude.
All right. Well, that's episode 86 of This Week in Grip. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Make sure to like the video, comment down below, and subscribe, and we'll be back next week with another one. Talk to you later.